The shadows of a few monsters could be vaguely seen in the dilapidated farmland that was overgrown with weeds, and there were all kinds of broken cars on the cracked highway. Some of the cars were overturned, and the dust on the highway told the story of its history. A figure was walking on this highway. Protected area? Luo Feng walked on the broken highway as he thought back to the distant past. When he was young, he joined the Firehammer Squad for the first time in the wilderness. He still remembered Chingu, who used firearms and treated him extremely well back then. That broken-arm Zhangku. The Wei brothers who used scimitars well. Of course, there was also the intrepid dual windhammer Captain Gao. Over 100,000 years have passed. Luo Feng shook his head and laughed, those brothers that he had gone through thick and thin with back then. Luo Feng had always been roaming the universe, he hadn't even seen his family many times, he had only seen these old friends a few times. However, the Luo family had always been secretly helping these old friends, and wouldn't affect their lives. However, time was merciless. Over half of these old friends from back then had already died of old age. Even though the Luo family had endless wealth, they still controlled the resources of their own disciples. Towards the old friends, even though they would help, they wouldn't go as far as to force them to the universe level or domain lord level. Earth still had many protected areas left, these were left behind from the headquarter city era. Some of the monsters were treated as rare animals and protected. These monsters were allowed to survive in the protected areas as it had been too long. In truth, the cracked highways, overturned cars, old residential buildings etc. were all refurbished. With new materials, they were able to exist for an extremely long time. The outer appearance was just old. After all, how could the concrete and other materials from back then remain the same for over 100,000 years? And to visit this protected area, one had to sit in a ship from above. It was forbidden to barge in and attack the monsters within. Of course, Luo Feng teleported in, and the person with the highest authority in Earth's defense system was Luo Feng. Naturally, there weren't any obstructions. So, Luo Feng leapt up, directly jumping onto the balcony of a 6-story residential building, sitting down, looking at the bright moon in the sky, listening to the roars of the beasts within the protected area. It feels a little like back then. Luo Feng said softly. Luo Feng frowned. Shwa. Then he disappeared from the rooftop. Roughly 800 light-years away from Earth in the starry space, there was a majestic and luxurious palace complex. One could faintly see some powerful guards, sector lord guards and even undying guards, walking along the tens of millions of km-long corridors. The security was very strict. This was Luo Feng's shrine. Within the majestic main hall of the palaces, beside the 12 huge pillars, there were flames burning, and on the throne of the main hall sat a majestic silhouette. It was the 10,000 kilometers tall Luo Feng, looking down at the 3 silhouettes below. Greetings, Milky Way Lord. 3 figures bowed at the same time. Ganwu Naizhou Bei Ming. Luo Feng gazed below, smiling. It's been hard on you all these days. The 3 of them had been dealing with some trivial matters according to his instructions and had only returned today. Of course, he had to see these 3 great heroes. In the future, there would be plenty of places for these 3 universe supremacies to serve him. It's our honor to serve the leader. Naizhou looked up, the Ganwu country leader, and Bei Ming looked up at Luo Feng too. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. From now on, everything here will be managed by the 3 of you. If there's anything, you can contact me through the virtual universe. If there's anything urgent, you can crush the token I gave you. Yes. The 3 universe supremacies bowed. Luo Feng nodded. Go. The Ganwu country king Venerable Bei Zhou and Venerable Bei Bo bowed slightly and left the palace. Luo Feng was 10,000 kilometers tall. Both his hands were placed on the armrests of the throne, looking up at the majestic shrine. This shrine was 10,000 kilometers tall. Even Luo Feng looked at it. He felt as though this majestic shrine was like an endless galaxy. No wonder the shrines are getting bigger and bigger. Luo Feng said softly. I've been studying the 2nd level of Star Pagoda over the past few days. However, I haven't been able to understand the 2nd level of the Wu Killer Wings, which is easier than the Star Pagoda. During this peaceful time on Earth, I'll focus on training and studying the Wu Killer Wings. Luo Feng immediately vanished. This place was less than 1,000 light-years away from Earth. One teleport and he could reach there. As for the 3 universe supremacies, many undying guards, large amounts of sector lord guards and large amounts of servants, they were all arranged by the Virtual Universe Company. Under normal circumstances, a universe lord would pick a few universe supremacies to be his disciples. There were only so many human universe lords. Most of them weren't willing to wantonly take in disciples. Hence, the majority of the universe supremacies couldn't become a universe lord's disciple. The Primal Chaos City leader allowed Luo Feng to take in disciples. However, Luo Feng needed to properly study and train. His law comprehension hadn't reached the universe lord level yet. Hence, he didn't accept any. In the end, he only picked 3 universe supremacies to help him deal with his affairs. These supremacies that were directly under Luo Feng were equivalent to having Luo Feng as their backer. Having a backer and not having one was completely different. Luo Feng first picked the Ganwu country leader and Naizhou, who were on good terms with him. After which, the Ganwu country leader picked his good friend Bei Ming. Hence, these 3 universe supremacies became Luo Feng's subordinates. With Luo Feng as a backer, at least the Ganwu country leader wouldn't fall into such a difficult situation like back then. Ganwu, this time you spoke up for me, allowing me to become the leader's subordinate. This favor. Bei Ming, you and I have a friendship of life and death. You've helped me many times, this is nothing. The Ganwu country leader, Nai Zhou and Bei Ming could be considered to have turned their fortunes around. With a backer, naturally things were different. One had to know that the moment the three became LuoFeng subordinates, they were each given a normal treasure. This was enough to make the other universe supremacies that didn't become the universe lord's subordinates jealous and envious. Luo Feng built a fixed pathway that connected his god country to Earth. He could easily return to his god country from Earth, and he could swiftly reach Earth from there. With this fixed pathway, even if there were space ripples or other situations, they wouldn't be able to stop him from reaching Earth. Time passed quietly. In the blink of an eye, 12 years had passed. Killing Wu Yui was harder than I expected. After spending a total of 12 years, I finally comprehended the second level. With a teleportation, Luo Feng immediately teleported from the Luo family mansion on Earth to a silent space a few hundred light years away. He didn't dare to recklessly test out the power of the Wu Killer Wing's second level on Earth. With his current strength, the moment he unleashed the Wu Killer Wings slightly, he could cause Earth to crumble and he would regret it. In the silent space, the stars were resplendent. A silver-armored and silver-winged Luo Feng stood in space, his eyes filled with anticipation. Let me see the second form's power. This four-winged killing Wu Yui was a top-level treasure. Just the first form alone was much stronger than the two-winged killing Wu Yui's second form. Right now, the second form should be even stronger than the two-winged killing Wu Yui's third form. The first form was called chaotic space. Then what about the second form? Chi. Countless amounts of burning god energy surged into the killing Wu Yui on his back. Following the large amounts of engravings, they swiftly extended outwards, intricately activating the engravings. In an instant, the entire second level of engravings had been activated. Immediately the silver wings began to change. Each feather became even sharper, with golden threads wrapping around it, causing the entire wing to have golden engravings. A powerful and luxurious energy emanated from it. Just this pressure alone made the killing Wu Yui even stronger than normal top-level treasures. Rumble. Vast. The endless space was enveloped in a golden glow, endless and endless. Luo Feng stood stunned in midair. After a long while, the killing Wu Yui's second form's power, no matter how strong it wouldn't shock Luo Feng. However, the power it was displaying right now completely shocked Luo Feng. This. Luo Feng looked in all directions. 1.2 light years away, there's a star-level beast living on that planet. Luo Feng turned and looked in another direction. 2.9 light years away from me, on that planet there's a construction team from the entire Milky Way galaxy. They're currently remodeling the planet. 3.8 light years away, there's a spaceship flying in the sky. 19.6 light years away, there's a Sector Lord team from my Undying Shrine patrolling space. Majestically, with Luo Feng as the center, an area of 80 light years was completely enveloped by a formless golden light. This entire area was completely under Luo Feng's control. It was a form of complete control. How can it be? How can it be? The more Luo Feng sensed everything, the more shocked he was. Even if it's a universe lord, he wouldn't be able to control space to such a ridiculous extent. Suppress. With a push from Luo Feng, immediately the space and time within a radius of 80 light years rose in power, causing the universe ships far in space to slow down and some planets to tremble. Luckily Luo Feng controlled it carefully, otherwise those planets would have been destroyed long ago. Full force suppression. Luo Feng pointed at a distant star. Rumble. That star along with the surrounding 3 large planets and many small planets, under the power that was enough to wipe out a universe night, they immediately vanished. That entire galaxy vanished from space. What a strong power. Luo Feng used his full force suppression on himself, immediately feeling a powerful pressure pressing down. This is even stronger than the Universe Lord's control of space and time. Luo Feng had personally felt the Universe Lord's control of space and time. Hence he could clearly judge that his control of this 80 light-year area was much stronger than the Universe Lord's control of space and time. Of course it would definitely be weaker than the Universe Lord's control of space and time. In terms of area. In terms of power. Both are much stronger than the Universe Lord's control of space and time. My Wu Killer Wings. Luo Feng was extremely excited. The first form is to mess up space and time, the second form is to completely control space and time. And it far surpasses the Universe Lord's control, the area far surpasses mine too. With LuoFeng's control, the vast blurry golden light swiftly shrunk. In the blink of an eye, it shrunk from the 80 light years around Luo Feng. The area can be big or small. It's extremely powerful. Luo Feng laughed. From today onwards with this move I'll naturally control space and time. Who would dare suspect that I'm not the Universe Lord? The Wu Killer Wing second form was actually this powerful. It was indeed out of Luo Feng's expectations, however it made him extremely happy. The Wu Killer Wing second form, I'll call it. Endless golden light enveloped the silver-armored Luo Feng. He said softly, Golden Country. The first form of the Slayer Wu Wings, chaotic time and space. The second form of the Slayer Wu Wings, Golden Country. It was still a support ability, however it made Luo Feng very happy. After all, the biggest difference between him and the Universe Lord was that he didn't have control over time and space. For example, in terms of chasing and killing he was very weak. Right now, his weakness had been made up for. A radius of 80 light years. Luo Feng exclaimed, even a top-level domain treasure like the Thousand Treasure River isn't that ridiculous. The second form is already so strong, I wonder what the third form is. Immediately, Luo Feng's god energy began to search the entire Slayer Wu wings, covering every part of it. The engravings and engravings on the wings appeared incomparably clear in his mind, tens of millions of times clearer than the naked eye. With one look, Luo Feng was immediately disappointed. He understood that this was currently the limit of the Slayer Wu wings. At least this incomplete Slayer Wu wing's third form was still lacking. Obviously, the Slayer Wu wings are still lacking parts, at least the engravings themselves are lacking. Without a part of the engravings, no matter how strong I am, I can't activate the third form. Luo Feng sighed within. To activate the third form, 1 is for my own origin law comprehension and engravings to reach a higher level. 2 is to find the parts of the Slayer Wu wings and make it even more perfect. Just one fusion and it made the Slayer Wu wings reach the pinnacle treasure level. Then the fusion. The Slayer Wu wings are indeed extraordinary. However, I don't know where to find those parts. Luo Feng exclaimed within. He knew this would be very difficult. After all, the Slayer Wu wings had been in the hands of the Primal Chaos City Leader for so long, yet he hadn't found any other parts. This was also related to the Primal Chaos City Leader not using them. Luo Feng had used them. Along with the countless warriors gathered on the Primal Star, he coincidentally sensed the Tianquan Night. Only then did he know of the other part of the Slayer Wu wings, the flowing light wings. However, over these years, Luo Feng had been to the Primal Star many times. Without any new senses to find the next part, the difficulty was obvious. That's weird. The Slayer Wu wings definitely didn't come out of the Primal Star. If it did, the Primal Star would clearly indicate the treasure's level, and split it into many parts. Although everyone had only received parts, they all understood how precious they were. However, Tiantai the Knight and Teacher, just the wing alone, they couldn't even tell that it was an incredible treasure. Back when Teacher gave it to me, he even said that other than him, no one else in the universe had seen it before. Luo Feng thought. I'll have to ask Teacher when I get back, where exactly did he find it? Luo Feng had already made his decision, he had to find the other parts of Wu Killer's wings. The second form was already so heaven-defying. The power of the third form. Luo Feng was naturally filled with anticipation. Time to go back. Shwa. Luo Feng had already vanished from this part of space. The space was still silent, the only thing missing was a distant star system. The lifespan of an expert was eternal and long. During this long period of time, there was a long period of peace. However, this peace was also for the sake of an even crazier battle in the future. Perhaps it was for the clan, for the faction, or for themselves. I didn't expect that Qixin Palace still hasn't opened yet. Luo Feng waited for the palace to open. After all, a pinnacle domain-level treasure. In terms of itself, only the Star Pagoda surpassed it. The other treasures were weaker, the Calamity Armor, the Blade Absolute Guest etc. were all weaker by a level. It was rare to get such a treasure. Naturally, Luo Feng was filled with endless battle spirit. At the same time, Luo Feng was training the Beast God Path and studying the engraved diagrams. He temporarily gave up on studying the Star Pagoda, because the third level of engravings was so complicated that it left him dumbfounded. It obviously far surpassed his current level. Only with higher origin law comprehension and engravings would he be able to comprehend it. 165 years since Luo Feng became the Milky Way Leader, Elder God Secret Region, within the Rainbow Light Lake within Circus Island. Luo Feng stood before the railings of the pavilion, looking at the distant plaza before the island leader's palace. He immediately teleported and with a schwa, he arrived before the fountain and entered the inheritance grounds. After a while, Luo Feng came out from the fountain again. I can already unleash the Universe Lord's ultimate techniques, and with the Beast God Heart, training the Beast God Path is indeed godly speed. Luckily, I have the inheritance grounds, able to instill energy over and over again, allowing my efficiency to be maximized. Luo Feng was very clear, every infusion of energy would consume a large amount of energy, hence the inheritance grounds actually had a very powerful control over the number of times. Normally, only those who had just stepped into a new level would have a free inheritance chance. The others would have to exchange for it. It was rare for the other inheritors to exchange for it. However, Luo Feng's mad challenge back then, battling over 620,000 times. This allowed him to have a huge amount of honor points, allowing him to exchange for large amounts of inheritance. And usually only with some comprehension would he proceed to the next inheritance, hence the amount of inheritance per level wasn't too much. Luo Feng. A loud voice resounded in Luo Feng's ears and mind. Luo Feng stood beside the fountain and looked up into the sky. A beam of light shone down from the depths of the Rainbow Light Lake, enveloping Luo Feng. One end of this light pillar enveloped Luo Feng, the other end, if one looked carefully, it extended towards the depths of the five-colored extreme light lake, the Ancestral God Palace. Ancestral God Palace? Luo Feng looked up, the rainbow lights of the lake automatically parted, forming a path for the beam of light to pass through. Ancestral God. Luo Feng spoke, he could tell that this was the voice of the two-faced Ancestral God. Come to me. The voice continued. Immediately a formless energy enveloped Luo Feng, so, Luo Feng swiftly followed the beam of light and flew out of Bauhinia Island, rushing into the depths of the Rainbow Light Lake and towards the Ancestral God Palace. At this time, LuoFeng's speed had already far surpassed light speed. To be able to do this in the Primal Universe, it was obviously something only the strongest in the universe could do. Luo Feng didn't resist this energy. With his abilities he could easily break through the restraints. As he flew, He saw the 3,000 stars, that was the 3,000 god envoys world. He also saw the 72 god general continents, every continent was majestic and boundless. He then flew past the Beast God Palace. There were 16 other palaces around the 8-direction Beast God Palace. I've arrived. Luo Feng landed on the majestic palace plaza. This majestic ancestral god palace from afar on Bauhinia Island was indeed terrifyingly huge. At the same time the entire palace emitted an endless amount of power. The power made even Luo Feng, who had seen many treasures, shocked. This ancestral god palace should be a pinnacle flying palace treasure. Luo Feng thought, indeed the ancestral god sect. Even before our human ancestor was suppressed, it was only comparable to the ancestral god sect. Luo Feng, come in. The voice came from the distant shrine. Outside stood 8 guards. These 8 guards were all dressed in golden armor. They were all universe knights. From the pressure emanating from their treasures, their armor and weapons were all treasures. At this time, these 8 knights were all looking at Luo Feng. Yes. Luo Feng took a step and arrived at the entrance of the palace, after which he entered. Within the majestic palace, there were many sky pillars so tall that one couldn't see the end. Every pillar had totem carvings, the carvings of different races, human carvings, bug carvings, automaton carvings. There were also countless alien carvings. In the furthest throne sat the 2-faced ancestral god. He gazed down at Luo Feng, smiling. According to the information you humans have released, you've already decided on your title. Milky Way Leader? Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Milky Way Leader Luo Feng, you've been in the ancestral god sect for quite some time. You've also joined our outer circle. The ancestral god said, even though you're the Milky Way Leader now, the grand universe origin laws tell me, you haven't actually stepped into the Universe Lord level. The reason you can unleash the Universe Lord's ultimate techniques is because of the first appearance of the Primal Universe's other path. Luo Feng was shocked within. The ancestral god sect had publicly announced that they were the protectors of the universe origin laws. Even the Primal Chaos City leader and the others said that the universe origin laws were protecting the ancestral god sect, from the fact that they were able to pass on their inheritance, and even knew that his techniques were created from another path. Looks like all of this wasn't just a rumor. The day you truly become a universe lord, will be the day you become our protector god leader. The ancestral god looked at Luo Feng. Don't think too much, every protector god leader of our ancestral god sect is an extremely powerful universe lord. Normal universe lords can't take up the position. Every divine lord protector has several masters of the universe under him. Luo Feng nodded, he knew. Feng Tian God Lord, 9 Nether God Lord, all of them were legendary beings of the universe. His current strength was indeed insufficient to become a protector god leader, on par with the others. You've been in our outer circle for so long, yet you haven't received a single mission. The ancestral god looked at Luo Feng. I have a mission for you now. It doesn't involve the human race. The location is extremely far away from the human territories. I wonder if you're willing? As long as it doesn't involve the human race or my good friends, I'll naturally comply. Luo Feng said. He had received the inheritance so many times, and had received many benefits from the ancestral god sect. Back then the ancestral god even personally protected him from the demon god. He naturally had to do his part. A golden light flew up and stopped before Luo Feng. It was a golden toad carving. The toad's eyes were gray. Take it and head to this territory. Any life form that can cause its eyes to turn red will be destroyed. The ancestral god gazed at Luo Feng. And you have to investigate what's happening there. The universe origin energy tells me there is something unfavorable happening to our primal universe. Luo Feng took the golden toad and looked at its eyes turning red. Ancestral god, once its eyes turn red, it means how far away is the life form that caused it? How big is its monitoring range? Luo Feng asked. About 100 million kilometers. The ancestral god said, imprint your life force within it, control it, and you can clearly sense it, determine if it's a life form or some wonder that caused this reaction. If it's a life form, no matter who it is, it'll be destroyed. If you're not willing to act, send a message to me, I'll send another member. This is a new communication tag. Back then the one 9 Nether gave you was too low, it couldn't contact me directly, this one can. A golden tag floated over. Luo Feng immediately received it, looking at it. Why did this golden tag look so much like the one his teacher sitting mountain passenger made? Go for the great universe origin energy, all life forms that cause its eyes to turn red, destroy them all, don't leave a single one alive. The ancestral god said. Yes. Luo Feng bowed. According to the range the ancestor god gave me, it should be within the Yuan Mystery Region. On the surface of a barren mineral planet, a silver silhouette broke through the sturdy rocks. Rocks flew everywhere. The silhouette was already in space, floating. Luo Feng stood in space, gazing into the distant space. This is the closest place my slaves can teleport to the Yuan Mystery Region. Luo Feng nodded and swiftly swapped his body. His earth body entered the world ring and the blood cloud leader appeared out of thin air. With a sweep of his tail and a wave of his hand, a palace appeared in space. Blood Cloud Palace. Go. Entering the Blood Cloud Palace, it became a beam of light and swiftly rose, quickly entering the dark universe, beginning to move at high speeds towards the destination, the Yuan Mystery Region. After all, he was working for the Ancestor God sect, and it wasn't a life-saving emergency. Luo Feng wouldn't teleport continuously. After all, teleporting time and time again, continuously teleporting for a day or two was extremely tiring, and sitting in the Blood Cloud Palace, Even though it was much slower than teleporting in the Dark Universe, it was still considered fast. Human Domain Primal Region, not far from the Primal Chaos City Leader's palace in space, there were two silhouettes. One was the Primal Chaos City Leader, the other was the Huge Axe Creator. Primal Chaos. The Huge Axe Creator said, I'm preparing to go to the Universe C, I might not be able to return for a long time, I'll leave the protection of humanity to you. To the Universe C? The Primal Chaos City Leader frowned, a long time. With the Huge Axe Creator's level, one training session could take up to 10,000 years, hence when he said a long time, it probably wasn't short at all. Could very well be in terms of epochs. However, the Primal Chaos City Leader was curious. With the power of the Huge Axe Creator, why would the Universe C take him so long? Don't tell me. The Primal Chaos City Leader looked shocked at the Huge Axe Creator. Ichim, I'm preparing to go explore the Ching Feng world in the Universe C. The Huge Axe Creator saw the city leader's expression and decided to say it. Huge Axe. The Primal Chaos City Leader couldn't help but say, that's the Ching Feng world. I've acquired one of the incomplete maps of the Ching Feng world. The creator of the giant axe said, with this piece of map I can also carefully explore the areas recorded on the map. If I'm lucky, I might be able to obtain a supreme treasure. Even if I'm a little unlucky, I should be able to get a peak domain type supreme treasure. Incomplete map? Primal Chaos City Master said in surprise, the incomplete map of Fallen Peak Realm? Yes. The creator of Great Axe smiled and nodded. Even the Primal Chaos City Master couldn't help but be excited. One had to know that the Cosmic Sea was an even more dangerous place outside of the Primal Universe. The Cosmic Sea could be said to be truly boundless. To this day, not a single expert knew the limits of the Cosmic Sea. The strongest experts in the universe were considered to be very low-key in the primeval universe. However, in the Cosmic Sea, the strongest experts in the universe were more savage, cunning, and ruthless than the last. Fight. Plunder. This happened time and time again in the Cosmic Sea. The Cosmic Sea was the place where the most supreme treasures were born. Almost all of them originated from mysterious places in the Cosmic Sea. For example, the Pinnacle Realm was one of the most dangerous places in the Cosmic Sea. All sorts of treasures, even pinnacle treasures and ultimate treasures, were hidden in some secret places in the Pinnacle Realm. Of course, the Pinnacle Realm was also filled with endless dangers. Just one of them, lost, was enough to make the strongest people in the universe fearful. Because there was no direction to guide them, it was easy to get lost. Even if the strongest experts in the universe could defend against all sorts of dangers, they would never be able to leave the Ching Feng world. They would forever be lost in the depths of the Ching Feng world. Without a map to guide them, the strongest experts in the universe wouldn't dare to casually wander about. The complete Ching Feng world map didn't exist. There were only a few maps that were recorded by countless experts who wandered about and then combined together to form a few incomplete maps. The incomplete maps were the treasures of the various superpowers. The rarer the map, the fewer the explorers and the higher the chances of finding the most valuable treasures. A single incomplete map was enough to make the strongest experts in the universe fight to the death for it. This is an incomplete map of a region in the depths of the Ching Feng world. The creator said solemnly, based on my understanding, there should be very few explorers there. I was lucky enough to obtain this map, I have to rush over and explore that region as soon as possible. Giant Axe, my main body will go with you. The Primal Chaos City Lord said. No. The creator shook his head, the deeper one goes into the Ching Feng world, the more dangerous it gets. Just that bewitching sound, even the Universe Lord might fall into eternal slumber. The Primal Chaos City Lord was shocked. Right, the dangers in the Ching Feng world were even scarier than the strongest experts in the universe. Even if one had the ability to create clones, the moment one soul was affected, the other clones would be affected too and fall into eternal slumber. This wasn't much different from dying. I know the few most dangerous regions in the Ching Feng world. As long as you don't go there, your life won't be in danger. At most, you will be lost. The Great Axe Creator replied, however, I will follow the incomplete map. If there are any errors in the map, I will immediately return the way I came. Ichim, you have to be careful. The Primal Chaos City Lord emphasized. To be able to obtain this map is already a huge fortune. This map describes a huge area. It's probably left behind by a power before the Great Apocalypse. With this map as a base, I can explore even more. With some time and luck, I can definitely get an absolute treasure. The creator said, I'm leaving, I'll leave everything to you. What? The creator of the Great Axe vanished into thin air. The Primal Chaos City Lord stood in midair for a while, nodding. If Giant Axe can get an absolute treasure, our human race will naturally become stronger. Following which he teleported back to his palace. Luo Feng used his identity as the Blood Cloud Palace leader to ride the Blood Cloud Palace through the Dark Universe with extreme speed. In just 8 days he arrived at a corner of the Primal Universe secret region. Yuan Mysterious Region. Yuan Mysterious Region. The silver-armored, silver-winged Luo Feng stood in the space of the Yuan Mysterious Region. With a flip of his hand, the golden toad appeared. The golden toad looked normal, its eyes still gray. According to what the ancestor god said, it should be within the Yuan Mysterious Region. Yuan Mysterious Region, according to the information, there are 12 vast continents. Every continent has a diameter of over 1 light year, while the largest is close to 8 light years. There are large amounts of different races living there. Luo Feng nodded. The entire Yuan Mysterious Region is the territory of the Lone Ranger, the Yuan Mysterious Lord. The vast continents within the universe secret region were able to sustain a shocking amount of life. It was normal for large amounts of sector lords to be born. However, this special life energy in the universe within a territory was limited. The fewer life forms there were, the more nourishment each life form could receive. For a continent like this, where there were countless people, although the population was large, the number of experts produced was far less than that of a normal star field. Universe secret region continents with large populations, producing undyings is considered easy. However, universe lords are extremely rare. The entire Yuan Mysterious Region, other than the Yuan Mysterious Lord, there has never been a universe lord. Luo Feng thought, the Yuan Mysterious Lord is a special life form. The Yuan Mysterious Lord was a special life form. His strength was extremely strong and he roamed the universe alone. Maybe because he felt lonely, he began to wantonly plunder the population of the universe. Those he plundered were all from the weaker races. Over 100 million from one race, over 100 million from another race. Many of the weaker races only had a universe knight at most, who would dare go against the universe lord. What's more, the number of people he plundered wasn't much. A race's population was usually in the trillions. The Yuan Mysterious Lord only plundered over 100 million. There were many races in the universe. Other than the pinnacle races and the strong races, there were simply too many normal races and weak races. The Yuan Mysterious Lord wantonly plundered in the universe, taking a total of over 100 lives. He then split them into 12 vast continents, allowing them to multiply and survive. The multiplication was very exaggerated. As time passed, the number of people grew. The Yuan Mysterious Lord also expanded the 12 continents time and time again, causing them to grow larger and larger, until they reached their current scale. On these 12 continents, there were also trillions of living beings. On these 12 continents, undyings were born, causing the normal life forms to worship these undyings and listen to their orders. God wars after God wars were incomparably crazy. Of course, there was a legendary supreme god on the 12 continents, the supreme god Yuan Ao. All living beings worshipped the supreme god Yuan Ao. The Yuan Mysterious Lord relied on plundering to multiply, relying on the undyings under him. The god wars caused countless normal life forms to kill each other, training the strong through the battles. Life and death battles were indeed a very effective way to train the strong. On the 12 continents, with thousands of gods controlling the god wars, the endless battles continued. The rate at which the battles consumed life forms was completely able to support the reproduction rate, the endless meat grinder god wars. Luo Feng said softly, over the countless years he actually managed to nurture 10 universe knights and thousands of undyings. Luo Feng smiled. Of course, these universe supremacies were useless in a battle between universe lords. One had to know that he had killed over 6,000 universe supremacies in one move. The true use of universe supremacies was that there was a high possibility of a universe lord emerging from them. Just one was sufficient. According to the ancestor god, there's actually something detrimental to the universe laws happening in the Yuan Mysterious Region. Luo Feng nodded. I'll first head to the 12 continents to investigate. After all, the life forms of the entire Yuan Mysterious Region are all on those 12 continents. So, Luo Feng immediately teleported 1,000 light years time after time. In the blink of an eye, he had traveled over 1,000,000 light years. A majestic endless continent appeared before Luo Feng. This was the Yuan Mysterious Lord's territory, one of the 12 endless continents. This should be the Dark Awareness continent. Luo Feng nodded. With a single step he entered the land of infinity. The skies of the endless land had a thin 7-colored light membrane. It had an extremely strong resistance. Luo Feng naturally passed through it easily. This resistance, I think only sector lords can pass through it. Luo Feng nodded and descended. Just from the air alone, Luo Feng could feel an extremely strong suction force coming from below. The suction force was so strong that even Luo Feng was shocked. Such a strong suction force, I'm afraid only a universe level can maintain flight. In mid-air, it only flickered for a moment before landing on the vast land. The moment his feet touched the ground, the suction force instantly weakened to a negligible level. He said softly, the Yuan Ao Lord really put in a lot of effort to create these 12 continents. One land, one 7-colored light membrane. Between the two, there would definitely be a strong repulsive force. Only by landing on the ground would one not be affected by this repulsive force? Luo Feng couldn't help but praise the ability of the Yuan Ao Lord, who had existed since the birth of the universe. At least the creation of these 12 continents probably took a lot of effort. Luo Feng's gaze swept around. This was a black wasteland. With a glance, there were countless bones left on the wasteland. Many of them had already decayed, some were still very sturdy. Obviously they hadn't been dead for that long. This battlefield has an area of about 10,000 kilometers. The strength of the bones varies. The strongest is only a sector lord. Luo Feng thought in the entire battlefield with his hollowified god energy scanning, he only found a total of 3 sector lord bones. One was buried deep underground, the other 2 were deep in the mountains. There was an extremely majestic and ancient city on each side of the battlefield. There were many soldiers patrolling the city walls that stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers. It was easy to tell that the soldiers were from different races, and the bloody aura coming from the city walls told of the cruel history of war. Battlefield? 2 impregnable passes? Luo Feng swiftly changed. His wings became dark green, his hair became fiery red, and his skin became dark green. This appearance was rather similar to one of the races among the soldiers he scanned with his hollowified god energy. I actually can't recognize this race. His consciousness swiftly scanned through the virtual universe. What he saw shocked Luo Feng. Card Eagle race? This weak race actually disappeared from the universe a long time ago, leaving only some remnants in the Yuan arcane secret realm. Luo Feng sighed within. Back then when the Yuan Ao Lord plundered without restraint, I didn't expect him to leave this bloodline for the Card Vulture clan. Shwa. Luo Feng took a step and passed the majestic border city, reaching over 100 million km away. That was an incredibly luxurious and vast city, with over 10 million citizens within. It was extremely lively. Luo Feng appeared in the air. Naturally those normal life forms couldn't even see him. It's still gray. Luo Feng's left palm had a golden toad, its eyes were still gray. Every continent is incomparably huge. This gray toad needs to get within 100 million kilometers of its target before it can sense it. How long will this take? Luo Feng took another step and continued his search after 100 million kilometers. Luo Feng began his long days of exploration. One had to know that the diameter of these 12 continents ranged from 1 light year to close to 8 light years. Every time Luo Feng teleported, he maintained a distance of 100 million kilometers. Even if he teleported 10,000 times a day, it would take him 10 days to pass through a light year continent. It was a light year wide. To search all 12 continents, it'll probably take tens of thousands of years. Luckily, I only need to spend a little effort. Luo Feng only split a bit of his consciousness to begin this long journey, the rest of it was completely focused on the beast god path and the engravings. In the blink of an eye, Luo Feng had already spent half a year on this continent. None here either. Here, it's red. Luo Feng, who was teleporting time and time again, suddenly stopped. In his hand was the golden toad, its eyes had already become fiery red. This was the first time in half a year that the golden toad's eyes had turned red. Naturally it made Luo Feng shiver, his clones stopped their training. It's in that direction. Luo Feng looked up into the distance, after which he teleported to about 1,000,000 km away from his target, following which he began to fly. 1,000,000 km, I'll reach it in a moment. I have to check and see what's going on around the target. To actually be able to make the ancestor god of the universe's #1 power, the ancestor god sect, pay so much attention to it, even saying that something bad has happened to the primal universe. Luo Feng didn't dare be careless. Even the ancestor god said something bad was going to happen to the primal universe. It probably wasn't that simple. Flying high in the sky, his godly energy scanned the surrounding 100,000 kilometers. Luo Feng didn't dare scan too far. This was to prevent the target from escaping. This was also Luo Feng's first time carefully inspecting this vast path. As he did so, he immediately saw many scenes. There were many loves and grudges happening on this land, and this dark awareness continent's unique civilization was revealed to Luo Feng, causing him to be extremely happy. Interesting punk, unlucky punk. Luo Feng's godly energy suddenly locked onto a spot on the ground below. Wei Yan family, just you wait. Bua will definitely become a great saint, raising the entire Wei Yan castle to the ground. On the back of a demon beast with huge fangs was a majestic knight. The knight was tall and sturdy, his entire body was covered in thick armor. Beside the demon beast were 2 huge blood-colored battle axes. His face was revealed, there was a blade scar, cutting across half of his face, making him seem even more ferocious. You dare insult me like this? I've worked for him, fought life and death battles, yet you dare insult me like this, even stealing my maid and giving her to someone else. I will definitely take revenge, definitely. When I return, I will definitely become a great saint, raising the entire Wei Yan castle. The demon beast knight cursed, the demon beast too galloped on all fours. Rumble, the galloping sounds behind him rumbled. The magical beast rider looked behind him, and his eyes instantly widened. His face turned pale as he saw over 100 magical beast riders charging towards him. Gagagagaga, an ear-piercing cry rang out in the air, causing the magical beast rider, Bua, to turn his head and look towards the sky. There was an enormous exotic beast in midair. That exotic beast's entire body was fiery red, and its scaled wings were surrounded by flames. Fire-winged dragon. There are only a total of 9 fire-winged dragons in Wei Yan Castle. To kill me, a level 5 knight, they actually sent 1 in over 100 demon beast knights. A crazed look appeared in Bua's eyes, and he suddenly grabbed the 12-meter-long knight's spear that was resting on the back of the demon beast. He gripped the spear with both hands, facing the rapidly approaching fire-winged dragon in the sky, causing beads of sweat to roll down Bua's face, his entire body trembling slightly as he stared at it with clenched teeth. It wasn't that he was afraid, but that the pressure from the fire-winged dragon in the sky was too strong. The fire-winged dragon required a level 9 knight, second only to a saint, to be able to match it. He was a level 5 knight. Even if there were 1,000 of them, they wouldn't be able to defeat a single fire-winged dragon. Boom. The demon beast he was riding on went limp at the knees, causing Bua to tumble in midair and quickly fall to the ground. Although his body tumbled to the ground, the huge spear in his hand was still pointed at the distant sky. Wei Yan family. Wei Yan family. Damn it. Even if your grandfather Bua dies, he will still turn into a demon knight to find you. Bua roared. Ha ha. Demon knight. Dream on. The fire-winged dragon circled in the sky, the other demon beast knights swiftly caught up, quickly surrounding Bua in the middle. This group of demon beast riders. According to LuoFeng's judgment, they should be from 3 different races. In terms of power, that flying beast should be at least a star level 7 or 8. Even though only a universe level could fly, this beast could use its wings to borrow strength and its own body's strength to fly. As for the other knights, they were all Star Traveler level, the highest was only a Star Traveler level 9. Bua, I won't bully you, my underlings won't make a move, just me alone, we'll deal with you. A knight dressed in the most beautiful armor rode a snow-white unicorn beast. Come, let your grandfather Bua spank your butt. Bua, wielding the enormous spear, grinned like a mad demon as he stared at the handsome knight. He understood, in front of the Blaze family he was just an ant. Even though he knew that he would die if he resisted, he could not swallow his anger. Suddenly, the land and skies quietened down, time seemed to stop, the wild grass by the side of the road bent and stopped moving, the knights and the beasts circling in midair also stopped moving. What's going on? Bua wielded his spear in fear. A silhouette slowly walked over, smiling as he looked at Bua. It's you. The man with the dark green wings looked at him and said, following which a formless energy wrapped around Bua. Over 1,000 km away in the wilderness, Bua fell to the ground. He immediately stood up, mumbling to himself, what the hell, did your grandfather Bua meet the devil? Where's the fire-winged dragon? Where is this? This tall and sturdy big man looked in fear at the silhouette standing before him. That silhouette was dressed in a seemingly simple black robe, with dark green wings, dark green skin, fiery red short hair. His entire being seemed to emit a strange demonic energy. Lord, Bua bowed. I've come to this world to find a life form to ask some questions. You have been chosen by me. Luo Feng looked at Bua. I know you're afraid of the Wei Yin family, don't worry, the team chasing after you will only think you've escaped. You're guessing my identity? Say, legend? Half-god. Bua was even more terrified, this being before him actually knew exactly what he was thinking. Luo Feng laughed. A universe level could easily search the soul of a star traveler with his current power. How could this weak punk's thoughts escape his detection? Luo Feng casually teased this punk, at the same time swiftly scanning his memories, carefully searching through them. Interesting world. Interesting punk. Luo Feng looked at Bua, simultaneously turning to look at the distant mountain range, the place that caused the golden toad's eyes to turn red. The person living there is actually a legend among the aboriginals? I admire your mental state, only I'm curious, if you have enough power, what will you become? Luo Feng looked at the fearful and uneasy Bua before him. Immediately, from the sea of materials in his world ring, a very normal and unique fruit from the universe appeared in Luo Feng's palm. Following which, it became a green light and enveloped Bua. Bua was shocked, immediately covered in the green light. Under Luo Feng's divine energy control, Bua's body constantly absorbed the energy essence and broke through time after time. His life force and genes rose at a terrifying rate, the energy within him constantly broke through. In an instant, a universe level 9 was born. And Luo Feng smiled as he watched this, since he had already obtained the information he wanted, he did as he pleased. To a great universe lord, a universe fruit's value was negligible. After which he turned and took a step and left.